Aye, Muntumusha Expression Seyfikile. We are here at the Youth Employment Services Initiative launch. Lapho khona abantu abasha have been placed successfully in the various companies in which now they're going to be part of. Labo basho ukuthi ke bazobanika ama skills as well as the know-how to ensure ukuthi babangena into the workplace bayakwazi phela nabo ukusebenza njengabanye abantwana. You are one of the first 100 to be successfully placed, and you work for Cecil manje. Yeah.
It was a selection, and then it was a selection among the group youth Ekona Free State. Actually, yes, has gave me an opportunity to pursue my dream.
Yes, it's a bigger initiative where it has all these companies such as Lulaway and Harambe coming together and offering opportunity to people who do not have.
You at home, don't throw a pity party to yourself, because the doors are open already. The president is there saying, yes, we're opening the services to you young people.
This is a great opportunity for us as a youth, because these days it's hard to get a job, especially if you are directly from university and got the highest degree or honors or whatever. But when you apply, they're going to tell you that they want maybe 10 years experience. Then I ask myself, or we ask also that, but we are directly from varsity. Where can you get 10 years experience?
Of course, this conversation continues in studio.
Wow, Ngo, that YES initiative really looks like it's quite amazing. But with that, we want to say hello, Dumelang, Sanbonani, South Africa. Welcome to Expressions here on SABC 1. We are your current affairs, #1 current affairs show. And if you don't know this by now, this is definitely the place for you to air your views. I'm your host, Jacqueline Mapala.
Your host now, Sizagine Koma from our studios in Auckland Park. Now, Jackie, when Ubaba Cyril Ramaphosa launched the YES initiative, it saddened him to see young people standing on the streets aimlessly. So, namhlanje siyabuza, will the president's YES initiative curb youth unemployment, Mzansi, and what makes it different to amanye initiatives that are already in place?
Well, that's a very important question, especially because the Youth Employment Service, better known as the YES initiative, was launched in collaboration with government as well as in partnership with business and organized labor. President Cyril Ramaphosa said the initiative was aimed at addressing the most pressing socio-economic challenges in the country, particularly poverty and unemployment among the youth. The initiative aims to create more than 1 million job opportunities for the youth in South Africa.
Okay, Jackie. See, Expressions, we were there to experience this firsthand, and this is what took place. Do take a look at this.
Today, we're building, in my view, what is the most important package of a social compact, where we all work together to respond to a social challenge that confronts our people.
29.7% of the 10.3 million young people between the ages of 15 to 24 years are not in employment, education, or training, giving them little hope of employment and leaving them exposed to a loss of dignity and succumbing to social ills. The Youth Employment Service, which was recently launched by President Ramaphosa, aims to create more than 1 million paid internships for mainly Black South Africans between the ages of 18 and 35 over the next 3 years.
And let us be clear that this initiative is not only going to be located in the urban area or in this Midrand in Gauteng where we are. We want it to spread throughout the country, to be in the towns, in the various parts of our provinces, in the villages, and as well as in the rural areas.
Often young people don't have the labor market intelligence. In other words, the information about where to look for what type of work. And secondly, they also don't have the skills for those types of jobs that are available. Young people are looking for jobs in places where there are no jobs, but they also look for jobs where without the requisite skills. Training is not always the solution. It's the type of training that you expose young people to.
We've seen a lot of internships in the country that are being recycled, and young people they don't get up being absorbed. So we wanted a guarantee that young people are going to be absorbed. Secondly, we know that there's a lot of abuse of interns at workplaces. Some of them, they end up doing tea. Some of them, they end up doing photocopies and all that. They're not actually being mentored for what they are qualified to do. So we wanted also a guarantee from business that these young people, when they go and become interns, if you are an accountant, you're going to be matched with someone who's doing accounting, and you'll be assisted to understand the field.
Some very strong comments from that launch of the Yes initiative. But of course, we are going to take this discussion further. And I'm joined in studio by Tajmir, I want to say that nicely, Tajmir Ismail Civil, who is the CEO of the Youth Employment Service. And I'm also joined by Elizabeth Munjiwa, who is the CEO of the South African Graduates Development Association, also known as SAGDA. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
But Tajmir, you prefer Tash, right? Excellent. But of course, if you're wondering what's happening to my co-host Mkolisi, he's on our social media corner bringing some of your insights on this also important conversation that we're having in studio, but we're going to get straight into it. And Taj, I'm going to go straight into our poll question. I mean, do you feel that this initiative will curb youth unemployment in South Africa?
It's not a silver bullet. We must say that up front. The size of the youth unemployment problem is massive. It's a gargantuan task. It's 6 million unemployed youth, not in employment, education or training. We are aiming to create 1 million jobs over the next 3 years. So it doesn't solve the problem. We're hoping that some of the underlying infrastructure that we build, if we do this right, even if we create 1 million jobs, hopefully the infrastructure around future jobs created will start to touch and snowball into more jobs going forward.
And I'm going to bring Elizabeth in, but I mean, the thinking behind why start a brand new initiative when there already are initiatives that are focused on youth unemployment? I mean, for instance, I mean, Elizabeth is one initiative, there's Harambe. Why start a brand new initiative? I'm asking Taj and then I'll come to you, Elizabeth.
Great. So if you look at what the Youth Employment Service is doing, we looked at the ecosystem and understood the problem in the economy is the lack of jobs. So if you look at fourth industrial revolution, it's disintermediating a lot of people. This is not just at entry-level jobs. We're talking about C-suite executives that are being disintermediated out in banks, in financial services across the board. AI can think a lot faster, quicker, and more accurately, and with less bias than a human being can. So, you know, this idea of jobs losses is not only a youth issue. It's across the board. People are having to retrain themselves for a modern economy. The issue becomes, what do we do when there are no jobs? You've got to create them. And that is what is different. That is the Yes differentiator. We're working on economic value chains. We're going to be working in rural areas. We've got plans for Limpopo coming up. We're working in township communities. Earlier we were discussing the issue is, if you do not have a matric certificate, or if you have a really bad matric certificate that doesn't get you access to an institution, what is your pathway? What are the jobs available?
Yeah, Taj, let me bring in. I can see she's itching to say something. I mean, do you think this is the right mechanism to solve this problem?
Definitely yes. And I wouldn't say it's a new initiative. It is a throughput. This is a platform where all skills partnership are coming together. Developmental partners, all institutions that are aiming at youth, that are aiming at education for the first time. We are not working in isolation. This creates a partnership for social, for public, for private, even communities. Jobs are limited. However, if all stakeholders come together and we are giving solution for a throughput, how this differ from an internship. Students have been through internships for 6 months, 1 year, 18 months. However, nobody knows the absorption of that. Now, if we have all the community partners that are dealing with skills development, that are dealing with employment, that are dealing with youth issues all together in one platform, it is definitely not a new, but we are concretizing and collaborating on a very long-standing and disintegrated programs that we all participated. So definitely, yes.
Clearly, there isn't really one simple approach to solving this. It's really about everybody coming together on the table and coming up with a solution for it. Oh, if you're a young person and you're unemployed and you're thinking, Jackie, please get to the part where you tell me how to get involved in the YES initiative. Stay tuned because we're going to give you more information after this. On the flip side is Mkolisi. We'll be back right after this.
I guess Pinde Sinbingele Sinamgele, you're still watching Expressions. Yes, your #1 youth current affairs show. Namhlanje kusihlwa sikhuluma nge-Yes Initiative Mundomusha that was launched by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Siyabuza-ke, will the President's initiative curb youth unemployment? Ngabe uzosizakala na uhlezi lapha ekhaya. Now I'm now joined by Hilda Kasa, who's an unemployed graduate with an honors degree. Hilda, hello. And we're also joined by Ubonolo Mononyani, who is a YES Initiative beneficiary. Welcome to the studio, ladies.
Thank you.
Mundomusha nawe lapha ekhaya sikushiya ngaphandle phela uyazi ukuthi you must get the conversation going on our social media platforms. Ungasifonela-ke namhlanje sikhona ku 011-714-8052. Ladies, let's get the conversation started. Hilda, you really said that you don't feel that initiatives like YES really are a breath of fresh air. Why?
I don't, because as you said, I have honors, right? So I also have a degree in journalism. So I've been applying. And you know, these initiatives, they've been there, they are there. So what makes this one different? And with, you know, you apply, and you don't even get, some they want, you know, you to have experience, 5 years experience. Where am I getting that from? And okay, here's the initiative that they're saying it's gonna help most of us who are unemployed. But I don't even understand it. How do I go about applying for it? I don't have that, my hope, like I don't have it. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so clearly, this we caught between a rock and a hard place. Like, fika umuntu omusha athini usizakele njengawe weBunolo. Usizakala kanjani because abantu abasha abanye bahlezi emakhaya abazi ukuthi ama programs enu bazwe laphi. Where do we go about finding out?
Asking around.
But
I do ask around.
When you're based in rural somewhere, what happened? How did you get in?
How I got it was that I'm based in Netcare. So we were recognized by a graduation ceremony after our learnership last year. So President Cyril Ramaphosa recognized the graduation ceremony on the intranet, Netcare. So he was like, okay, Netcare is taking part of the initiative. So we're going to add Netcare as it. And yes, it has been...
Hilda, but what do you feel needs to be done? Angazi mhlawumbe makungathiwa ama programs lawa are really there to help abantu abasha. What do you feel needs to be done?
I feel like take it to the universities. Tell us there, when we are still studying, that there are those initiatives and how do we go about applying for them? Because, you know, you get out of, like, you graduate, you're so excited that you're going to get a job. Bah! There's no, back to a reality hits, and it hits hard.
And you know what? I think this also echoes my sentiments, Vivo, where he says we see all this in big screens, yet we are here at home with no opportunities, no nicks. It's as if the government initiatives are made for a few select people. Tash, perhaps let's take this to you. Would you like to answer that they feel that some of these initiatives are addressed to only a select few?
So this is what differentiates YES. We are, if you're a person with no matric, if you have a matric that's not great, if you're a dropout, if you have a TVET qualification, if there is a job out there, we will place you. And if there is a job that we can create for you, wherever in the country you are, we will place you into it. What is important to understand, though, is there's always going to be more young people than jobs. And what are you doing to be the young person that earns that job? How are you honing your interview skills? How are you making sure that you constantly re-educate? You don't stop once your degree's over or once you fall out. Get a volunteer job at an NGO to keep yourself sharp. Get yourself into digital networks. Change the people that you're talking to. So it's also about understanding that it's not initiatives that are only going to create jobs. It's about building your pathway and having what we call today a growth mindset. And I know we agree on the idea of what a growth mindset is, and that is empowering yourself to that pathway, because employers recognize that. They recognize self-starters and people who are going to be proactive even once they're in that job.
But the somehow reality is that it's mostly young people with access to the internet. There is Usizwe sitting somewhere in rural Eastern Cape who doesn't necessarily have access to such opportunities.
Yeah. And this is a big part of our work. So we're going into communities, we're trying to identify value chains that will allow young people a pathway in. They're entry-level jobs initially because you're learning as you go. They're in agri-tech, tourism and hospitality, because these we can take into communities further outside of the urban areas. We're building capacity through what we call community hubs, so we can bring forth industrial skills in short courses and modules to give people that exposure. These centers will have Wi-Fi, and we're getting zero-rated data from our telco partners so that our platforms, when they're launched, will be, you won't have data costs, basically, with zero-rated.
All right, again, Muntomusha, at the back of that, Njoba Wazuguti, we're on all social media platforms. That's why we check in with your expression for this week.
Yes campaign yamongameli wala eNingizimu Afrika ngicabanga ukuthi izosebenza ngempela ekuthenini izinkampani zala eNingizimu Afrika zibone ukuthi kumele zikhiphe imali zabo zicashe labo mhlawumbe nabawu5 nje to eliminate unemployment in South Africa. So I think izosebenza and ngithi phambili nge-yes campaign.
Well, and then you also have someone who, you know, hails the Yes campaign as the most, you know, paints this rosy picture of it.
I'm placed in head office, Netcare. What I do, I consolidate with other hospitals. Netcare has like 58 hospitals. So what we do in pharmacy, we check the stock, receiving of stock and dispensing.
Okay. All right, so I guess let's just quickly check in at the back of that with our social media platforms. Oslizo says, well, this is good for our youth, but as interns and apprentices, we need protection, really. We are being used as cheap labor doing irrelevant jobs in the companies. Guanele says the government is putting a plaster on a bullet wound. If you want to increase employment rates, you must support young entrepreneurs because they are the ones who will employ people. I see Uhilda there nodding with that one. Richard says, what is the possibility of local NGOs being linked with the YES program to assist our youth in the remote areas of the Northern Cape, Dallas and surroundings? And of course, Richard, I think Utash has to a certain extent also tried to address that one. Muntomusha, this all important discussion, Pelaya Kubega, straight after this. Now, this is Expressions.
Welcome back. You are still watching Expressions, and today we are talking about the YES initiative that was launched by President Cyril Ramaphosa. And the poll question that we're asking you this evening is, will this initiative curb youth unemployment in South Africa? I'm still with my guests, and we have to wrap things up, unfortunately. And I think I just want to start with you, Tash. I mean, we're talking about 1 million jobs over a year. So I'm sure a lot of young people right now are saying, how do I get picked? How do I get placed by YES? So give us a little bit of more details about that.
We do have a database. If you go into the CHEPO 1 million database, the Harambee database, or the YES for Youth database, which you can access online, you can put your details in. We must stress that until the legal gazetting process is completed with the DTI, we can't do placements. What we are doing in the interim is we're building new jobs, building them. There aren't enough of them, so we have to go into communities and build the infrastructure, the skills training, and bring the corporate money in to create jobs in agri-tech, tourism, and hospitality. So that's what we're doing. And hopefully when we start to open the databases up and use the Harambee, CHEPO, and YES placements, we'll be able to have opportunities for you. In the meantime, get yourself ready. have a mindset of abundance. Only you can build your pathway. Not the government, not a company. You build your pathway. Take a job anywhere. Maria Ramos's first job was a shelf packer. My first job was very boring, filing. But wherever you go, that journey, there's something you learn, and you carry that skill with you. And eventually you have enough to be really successful.
They say, Elizabeth, I mean, one of the young people said that initiatives like this is like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. What is the way forward so that young people feel hopeful about their future?
We, as a country, have created a lot of expectations to young people. Young people have been through education systems, have been through youth internships, have been through workplace experience. Now we are saying, as development partners and skills development partners, we are coming together and want to take accountability to deal with those expectations. However, as Tash is saying, there is a shift in mindset that is required. Stop looking for a job as a comfort zone. Just free your mind and try to realize opportunities that are there. For youth that see this as just another initiative and not for the value that it is, that is just your exact example. Here is a public-private and community collaboration with government, making effort to address to the needs. What we need is a positive attitude from young people.
So it's about mindset. It is really about mindset.
Because you're talking about jobs are not there.
Unfortunately, Elizabeth,
employment are there.
Employment is there. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut you there. Thank you so very much, ladies, for coming to the show.
Yes. Well, on that note, Montomusha sibuzile-ke ukuthi ngabe le initiative izosiza phela ukuthi silwe ne-unemployment la eMzansi, and this is what you had to say. Now, 50% of you think yes, and 50% think no. So they divided.
They're divided, eh?
So ultimately, it's also up to them. And of course, at the back of that is Tanda Nokwazi phela ukuthi what you would like for us to discuss, and this is what you think for next week.
Hi Expressions, my name's Rebecca Victor and I'm a learner at Krugersdorp High School. Today I'd like to give you my opinion on femicide. Femicide is the killing of a young girl or a woman by a male according to her gender. I feel that femicide is not only a big problem in South Africa, but around the whole world. Women and girls should not have to feel inferior to a male, but also not have to worry about these rising increases in femicide rates. Every day, 3 women are killed by an intimate partner. But the question is, why are the laws so slow to respond? The law should be faster to respond to femicide rates. And women need to have assurance of their safety. In my opinion, we were all created and made in the image of God, and we should honor each other for that. Thank you.
Wow, an important conversation that we're definitely looking forward to having here in studio. But I think we're going to have to wrap things up, right?
Yeah, we're wrapping it up. Muntomusha Sibonge, remember to keep those video diaries coming. Now, Cutting Edge is up next. We're being played off by Uzanda Zaguda. From all of us here at Expressions, we wish you a spectacular evening going forward.
Adios, muchachos.
Love you from your head to your toes. Love you with my heart and for my soul. Tear my flesh or break my bones. Your love is the blood in my veins that flows. Love you from your head